Welcome to the Idiot Box. This is Rings of Power Episode 4. The episode starts in the Numenor's palace, where mothers and infants are gathered with Queen Regent Míriel for blessing of the children. The palace starts to shake. The queen watches as an enormous wave rush over the island, destroying everything in the path, and Míriel is submerged. She wakes up from her nightmare in the courtyard. The smith who was beaten by Halbrand is riling up the crowd by saying that elves are coming for their jobs. The chancellor turns up to quell the unrest, promising that elven hands will never take Numenor's helm. Meanwhile, Galadriel tells Míriel the truth about Halbrand and urges her to help the people of Southlands, but Míriel rejects the proposal. Galadriel asks to meet Míriel's father and true ruler of Numenor. For this, Galadriel ends up locked up next to Halbrand. At the sea trials, Isildur is distracted and accidentally lets slip a sail, which causes the captain of the ship to dismiss him from the Sea Guard along with his two friends. Later, Valendil, one of the expelled candidates, is angry at Isildur, and they come to blows. In the orc pits, Arondir is put into chains and meets Adar, who is an elf with scars on his face. Arondir asks him why do orcs call him Adar, which means father in Elvish, but Adar doesn't answer. Instead, he asks him to deliver a message to the men who have taken refuge at the Elven Watchtower. At the Watchtower, more people arrive looking for refuge. Bronwyn tries to ration the food, but it is still not enough. Theo suggests they should go to the town to gather the food stored in warehouses, but Bronwyn think they should just hunt. Theo, along with his friend Rowan, sneaks away to the town on their own and manage to gather a cart full of supplies. Rowan gets spooked by the growing shadows of the clouds and decide to hightail it out of the town. Unfortunately, he leaves Theo behind, who is in the tavern. An orc shows up, prompting Theo to grab the strange hilt. The hilt turns into a sword and he fights his way out. Theo hides in a well. Elrond returns to Celebrimbor, who reflects on how Elrond's father once said that future would be in Elrond's hands. In the next scene, we see him meeting Disa. He asks her where is Durin, but she tells him that he is mining quartz. In reality, he is digging in the old mines. Elrond listens from afar and realizes they are referencing the old mines below Mirrormere. Elrond wanders off alone without a dwarven escort and finds a hidden door in the rock. Heading through, he runs into Durin, who makes him promise not to tell anyone what he's up to. It turns out Prince Durin has found a new ore, explaining what was in the mystery box several episodes back. The ore is called Mithril. Durin lets Elrond keep a small piece. A cave-in occurs in the old mines. Meanwhile, Galadriel paces in her cage as she reflects on her negotiation skills, or lack thereof. Halbrand points out that Míriel's real anger stemmed from mention of her father, the king in the tower, whom no one has seen in years. That night, the Queen Regent makes her decision and chooses to ship her back to the elves under armed escort. When the cell is opened, Galadriel single-handedly bests 5 armored men, pushing them all into the cell and locking them up. Galadriel infiltrates the tower only to find Míriel and her father, who happens to be in bed and ill. Galadriel apologizes, believing there should be truth between them. Míriel decides to trust Galadriel after all and leads her to a lost Palantir. She touches it and experiences that same flood scene that Míriel dreamed of. Míriel wants to send Galadriel away to prevent this future from coming to fruition. Rowan returns to the tower, but Theo is still in the well. Theo tries to slip in the night, but he is caught, and an orc is about to chop off his arm for the location of the hilt, but he is saved by Arondir. Arondir and Theo run through the woods with the orcs chasing them. Bronwyn is also in the woods in search of Theo. They manage to escape the woods to the fields, and the orcs are stopped by the rising sun. Disa and Elrond are waiting on the news about the dwarves trapped in the cave-in. Durin brings the news that all the dwarves made it out alive, but the king has barred any other mining in those tunnels. However, Durin has a really touching chat with his father as King Durin III patches up his issues with his son. Prince Durin eventually decides to go with Elrond to Lindon. At the Watchtower, Arondir passes Adar's message to Bronwyn, telling her that if the men wish to survive, then they have to forsake the claims to their land and swear fealty to him. Theo is visited by a villager who shows him old scars made by the hilt and tells him about Sauron's return. Back in Numenor, Galadriel leaves without Halbrand, but Míriel has second thoughts when she notices petals of the great white tree fall. Míriel speaks to the council and decides to personally escort Galadriel back to Middle-earth and help the men in the Southlands. The episode ends with people of Numenor volunteering to sail to Middle-earth. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe for more.